Welcome to the vibrant city of Chandler, Arizona, a place where investment opportunities are as abundant as the sunshine.
Hello, I am Longley, your go-to realtor here in the heart of Chandler. I specialize in helping new investors to acquiring exceptional investment properties here in this dynamic city.
With a deep understanding of the local market and a passion for real estate, Longley is dedicated to finding the perfect investment for every client.
Whether you are investing in single-family home or multi-family unit,
I'm here to provide you with a personalized service that aligns with your investment goals.
Benefit from Longley's expertise in market trends, property valuation, and investment strategies, ensuring your journey into real estate investment is both profitable and enjoyable.
Chandler is not just a place to invest in, but it is also a community to be a part of. From its welcoming neighborhood to its thriving business landscape, there's no better place to start your investment journey.
So let's embark on this exciting journey together. I am Longley, your local real estate expert in Chandler and Phoenix, Arizona, and I'm here to make your dream a success reality.
hello, welcome back everyone to another webinar. Today we are going to talk about how to buy your first rental property in 7 steps and with only 5% down. Another exciting webinar. Thank you so much. I'm happy to share with you all the information about today. This is exactly blueprints that I have used to purchase my first investment property, and I would love to share with you right now so that you can have an idea. Real estate investing is not as complicated as some people think. It just takes time. And by time, we're going to easily obtaining more and more properties in your favor. So let's dive right into the content today. Well, first of all, let's introduce myself. I am Longley. I'm a local real estate expert here in the heart of Chandler and Phoenix, Arizona. I'm specialized in helping investors all over the state, in Arizona, out of state. Some of you may be even out of the country. And I specialize in helping new investors. I want to focus my expertise in helping new investors because I was a new investor as well. And my enthusiasm is that to help as many new investors as possible, provide all the information to you. I know you guys have a lot of questions, and some of the biggest concern that the new investor has is how do I come up with the down payment to purchase my first investment property. I really want to invest in investment properties, but I don't have the means to do so. Specifically, I don't have the capital to do so. So today, I'm going to show you the exact 7 steps. I bought my first investment property with just 5% down. And here's some, as you already know, if you are already interested in real estate investing, you're probably aware of some of the benefit already when you purchase a rental property. You're talking about financial freedom, you're talking about diversification rather than just put all the investment money, all the capital into the 401k that most of you do. Passive income, you don't have to do anything. The rental, the cash flow gonna give you the additional income. Additionally, real estate as the long run is gonna have appreciation. Okay, then it's gonna give you extra money from that asset. Okay, tax advantages, assets appreciation, those are the basic idea of real estate investing. The basic benefit of the real estate investing: control over investment, rather than just put into a 401k and hoping that company giving you the profit, right? You have the control over your property. You can decide the rent amount. You can decide when you are going to sell, when you are going to purchase a new property, right? That fit also into retirement planning. You can do that during now, or you can do that when you retire. I have some investor don't have any property, investment property while they are at work. And then later on, right at the first year they retire, they purchase 10 properties all in 1 year, right? So that's really flexible for your benefit, okay? All right. So the next is the high level of the 7 steps. So this is including the 7, like I said, this is the exact 7 step that I use to acquire my first rental property. We're talking about how to save $1,000 in step 1. Step 2 is pay off some of the bad debt. Step 3 is the 5% down. Buy your primary home, share a room, earn income in step 5. Step 6, we're gonna recoup the cash that you invest in the primary home. And then step number 7 is the step that you acquire the rental property with 5% down. All right, with that, let's go into the detail of each step. All right. So in this step number 1, we are going to save $1,000. Some of you may ask, why $1,000? I'll never be able to buy anything with just $1,000. Especially with inflation nowadays, it seems to be a joke because 1,000. I mean, you can buy some food with 1,000, but that's pretty much it. 1,000 cannot buy a house in today's market. Well, I totally understand that. However, though, this 1,000 meant to be the evidence that you are the responsible person. Why do I say that? Not saying that you are not the responsible person right now, but as a long run, when you own a property, when you own a house, there's a lot of financial responsibilities that you have to take over. For example, you have to pay utilities bills now, right? I'm not sure if you are renting or you're living with your parents right now, but if you're living for free, right, you never think of the situation you have to pay utility bills. You have to pay property tax. You have to have property insurance. You have to have HOA, right? Those are the bills that gonna be appear to you. Not to mention about the regular maintenance of the properties. What if the AC broken down? How soon can you get someone to come to fix it? What if the roof has a leak? What are you gonna do with that, right? Those are the things that, of course, as you own the property, you're gonna learn how to maintain, how to manage those problems, right? But if you don't, and that is the very big problem. Okay, those require thousands and thousands of dollars to pay for those problems. That's why if you are not prepared in step number 1 to be able to save, if you are not able to save $1,000 in step 1, then how are you able to come up with those big amount of money later on when you own the property? And that's the reason why I put the step 1 is a very reasonable amount. Okay, 1,000 should start. But if you are able to do that, you have proven to yourself that you are able to responsible. You are able to responsible for financial problem that could happen in the future. Okay. In other words, if you are not be able to save this, don't think about buying investment home. Okay. So step number 1. All right. Step number 2 is talking about paying off some debt. Okay. So after you save up $1,000, right? So that's easy to start. Maybe it's depend on your situation. Some of you already might already have 1,000. Great. Move on to step number 2. Some of you may not have 1,000 yet, right? I'm sorry. Some of you may take 1 month. Some of you may take 3 months. Depend on the situation, right? So after that step, then you're gonna look at the bad debts. Okay, there are 2 different types of debts that you can do a Google search as well. Number 1 is good debt, and number 2 is bad debt. Okay, my definition of bad debt is whatever create a liability to you, or create a financial liability to you, is called a bad debt. For example, if you have a credit card, if you use a credit card to purchase $200 of merchandise, okay, But then if you don't pay off at the end of the month, that $200 become $225 or $230 or $260, for example. It has some interest on that money that you haven't paid off. Okay, so that creates a liability, a financial liability to your situation, to your monthly income, to you, right? So that is called, the credit card is a bad debt. The loan on the car is also considered a bad debt because you buy a car is an asset that depreciated by time. Okay, so you bought a car, you buy a car at 30,000, for example, and then you take on a car loan, right? Not only you have to pay interest on that $30,000 car loan, right? Meaning you have to pay at the end, instead of paying 30 only, you pay 40, for example. Okay, I'm not don't quote any number that I give here. I just use it as an example. Okay, 30,000, instead of paying only 30,000, you end up paying 40,000. So that's extra 10,000 is financial liability that you have to pay extra because you took on a car loan. Not to mention, by the end of 5 years, when you pay off the loan, your car value is no longer at 30. Maybe it's only at 20, for example. So basically, there's a $20,000 gap that you have when you pay a car using a loan. So those are the bad debt. What is the good debt? The good debt is something create money for you. For example, a house, right? I know that's still mortgage. I know you still have to pay interest, but imagine if your mortgage payment is 2,000 and you can rent it out for 2,500, for example. Then every month you get extra $500 toward your income, right? So you get extra additional income, and then therefore it create not only reduce or eliminate the financial liability that you have for the mortgage, but also give you additional $500 every month to spend. So that is a good debt. The way that you pay off the debt is Jay Ramsey. I followed Jay Ramsey once in the past. He suggested a very, very useful way to pay off the bad debt is first to list out all the debt that you have, starting from the smallest on top to the highest. Okay, and then start pay off from the top to the bottom. Some of you might ask, why don't I pay off the one that has highest interest rate? The reason is that the highest interest rate may have a big amount, and it's going to take a long time for you to pay off that, and it creates a bad feeling, right? It takes you forever to pay off that debt, and you feel discouraged because of that. It takes too long for me to pay off this debt, right? So choose whatever amount, smallest loan amount, and you pay off that first. It creates a momentum. Within 2 weeks, you pay off this. You pay off $200 credit card debt. Within a month, you pay off $100,000 credit card. Within 2 years, you pay off the car loan debt. Okay, rather than you start with 2 years and then by the end of year 1, you're already tired of paying off debt, right? So that's the reason why I think that is a great suggestion from Mr. Jay Ramsey. I would do that if I were me. If I were you, if I were me, if I were you, I would do that and then follow exact principle to pay off the bad debt. Okay. The other reason, other than financial responsibility, reason pay off that I recommend step 2 is to pay off your debt. The main reason is that it's gonna create a very good debt to income ratio later on. Debt to income ratio, for those of you who are not familiar with that concept, is a ratio, a number, when you get the debt divided by the income. Okay, the higher that ratio, the more difficult for you to obtain mortgage. Okay, you have to have somewhere around 55%, or the lower the ratio, the better chance for you to get the mortgage and get a better interest rate. So by lowering or completely eliminate the debt that you have right now, it gives you a better chance to lower the debt to income ratio. Okay, and therefore you're going to have a better chance to qualify for the mortgage. And that is exactly the reason why in step 2 I recommend you to do so. Okay, so that it's easier when getting you ready to qualify when you're ready to apply for the mortgage. What about step number 3? Step number 3 is when you actually start saving for 5% down. Okay, how much is 5% down? That is a great question, right? So first of all, how much is 5% down? Okay, so depend on the house that you are going to purchase, depend on the area that you are going to purchase. Okay, the best method to do this is to do a research on the market that you are interested in. Contact an agent in that area and ask, hey, what if I buy a house for 3 bedroom, 4 bedrooms, 1 story, 1990s? Okay, what is the average median sale price for that? Okay, an agent, knowledgeable agent, should be able to tell you right away. Okay, it's in Chandler. Okay, then it's going to be 480 to 500. All right, so you can reverse engineer. Okay, let's say 500, right? 5% of 500 is 25,000. That is your goal. That is your target goal. And from that, you can back up. You can reverse engineer and see how are you going to come up with the 25,000. It could come from a gift of the family. It could come from your saving on the monthly basis. It could come from a scholarship that you have, or it could come from inheritance money that you have. Okay, save for 5,000. I'm sorry, save for 5% down, because actually the next step is the step that we are going to purchase a house. Okay, so you don't have to save up to 20% right now. Okay, and then since you already have step 1 where you save 1,000, step 2 where you already have some money to pay off the debt, and step number 3, you see, I create some build up momentum in 1, 2, and 3, smaller, medium, and biggest. Okay, for you to get started, and that create an incremental steps for you to easy to follow. Okay, save for 5% there. Get the information from the listing agent, from the agents in the area, and come up with that number. Okay, all right. After you save for 5% down, you can actually start talking about buying your primary home. Now you already have the down payment, the needed money for the down for buying a primary home. Okay, and then you, of course, on top of that, you have to pay for closing costs as well. So discuss with your agent to see what is the estimated closing cost, what is the whether the 5% is enough. Most of the time it is enough, because here's the thing, there's some program that only require you to make 3% or 3.5% down payment, and then you can use the rest for the closing costs. Okay, that's too much in detail, but basically in step number 4, you're gonna buy your primary home with 5% down. Okay, wait a minute, Long. I thought you said that we are going to buy a rental property. Why are we going to buy a primary home? What if I don't want to move? I love my rental. Okay, I don't want to pay my mortgage. I want to have a tenant to pay my mortgage. Stop thinking about having a rental is your house. Okay, stop that is not true. Okay, when you say that you don't have to be responsible for the mortgage when you rent, you're actually responsible for the mortgage already, but the mortgage is for the landlord. You bring in the benefit for the landlord by paying their mortgage. Similarly to this situation, right? You're buying an investment property so that someone else can pay your mortgage. So why would you put yourself into that situation? Okay, buy your primary home first, because that is acceptable for you with the 5% down. First of all, if you only have 5% down, if you only have 25,000, you have to buy a primary home in an area that has a median sale price of 500,000. Right? You cannot buy an investment home yet. Okay. Secondly, since you haven't bought any home before, buying a primary home gonna make you familiar with the process on how to buy a house. Okay, you're gonna know how to look for houses. You're gonna know how the showing process look like. You're gonna know how the offer process look like. You're gonna be able to know how to do the inspection right, how to negotiate on the inspection concept, how to read the appraisal, how to finish the loan application, right? There's a lot of steps that you do, that you have to do when you purchase a home. Therefore, don't think about investment property yet as a first property. I always recommend a potential real estate investor, if they haven't bought the house before, buying a primary home is very critical for you to learn the process. Okay, besides, like I said, besides financial benefit of only 5% down, you get the property, you also have the experience when you do that as well. Okay, so for those two reasons, in step 4, I recommend buy a primary home first. Okay, what about step 5? Now, in this situation, you already have a house, right? Congratulations, by the way. Okay, you already obtained the house right here, and then you're gonna share a room. You're gonna share a room, share a place, do Airbnb, or if you are not willing to having people come in and out, if you don't want to do like cleaning a room every once in like 2 or 3 days for the next guest, right? You can choose to share a room for a permanent people in a monthly basis, right? A room in Arizona depend on the area, of course, but on average, it's about $500 to $800 already, right? Depend on the size, depend on the amenities included in that room. Okay, or you can choose to do a short-term rental, depend on the situation. The main idea is that you're gonna have additional income from that property immediately, right? And reduce your financial liability on the mortgage payment. Okay, that's financial benefit number 1. The other benefit, as I love this step, is that you're gonna be able to learn the process about how to talk to a tenant, how to screen a tenant, how to maintain the property when there is a tenant in place, how to evict the tenant. Hopefully you don't have to go that route, but in some situation you have to, right? How to evict a person, right? So there's a lot of things that you can learn as you share out a room, right? How to take the pictures of the house, of the room, so that you have the potential tenant apply. Okay, so that's a lot of things that you can learn when you share a room, on top of having the benefit of the financial additional income, right? Of course, some of you may say, nope, Long, I'm not feeling comfortable with this idea, not feeling comfortable with someone living in my house. That's fine. Okay, don't do this. Okay, don't do this. You just have to work a little bit extra to get additional income, or to learning some experience on a different occasion. Okay, so that's fine. If you don't want to do this, of course, I'm not gonna be able to force you to do anything, but this is exactly what I did. Okay, my house has 5 bedrooms, my family use 4, and then the guests can actually use number 1 bedroom, one of the bedrooms that we have, and that's it. Very simple. On a monthly basis, we have a constant income for that property, for that one room. Okay, so step 5 is share a room, earn income. To do what? To do step number 6. Okay, where is in step number 5, you're going to reduce your liability for the financial of the mortgage, right? Reduce of mortgage liability by having additional income. Step number 6, when you have a certain amount of equity growth in your property, then you can do a refinance cash out. Normally, you have to wait at least a year in a regular market, right? At least a year, so that your equity growth are high enough to be able to refinance and cash out. If you do it too quick, you don't have enough equity to pull out any cash. okay? And therefore it's become useless, okay? And it doesn't make sense if you refinance within the month, for example, unless the equity grows crazily within the month, okay? The purpose of this is that, for example, if you buy the house, $500,000, and for some reason the next year it becomes $600,000. So now you have $100,000 extra equity to pull out and then use that for some other reason. Hint, step number 7, right? So you can use that money to do whatever you want to do, renovation on the house, or use that as a down payment for the next house. So this is take advantage of the time of the growth of the real estate, and then therefore you don't have to put in a lot of capital for the next step. What is next step? The next step is to buy the second primary house and rent out the first house. So now after a year living in your first primary house, you legally and be able to rent that house full 100%. You don't have to share a room anymore. You can rent to any tenant family, the first house, okay? And then utilize the same thing. When you buy the second primary house, you only have to have 5% down for that house. You don't have to do 20%, okay? In other words, you convert the first property to a full investment property, right? So when you bought that, remember when I told you you don't put 5% down for the first house, then it become investment property, and therefore it is now the investment property, and you only spend 5% down on that investment property. So that is a circle, okay? Some people do this all day long. Like I said, real estate is the best way to get wealthy, but it takes time. Like I said in step number 6, I normally recommend wait for about like a year before you can do step 7. Okay, sorry. The main reason is that it's going to be easier to explain to the underwriter of the second house of the situation, right? If you do it too short, you make a lot of money, and you can come up with another 5% within a month or 2 months already. But if you do it too fast, then the underwriting doesn't approve the second house of the primary home, because that doesn't make sense. You just moved to the first property a month, right? It's going to be more challenging, more difficult to explain to the underwriter in that situation. Okay, so that's in step number 7. You bought the second house using either the saving up money or using the equity cash that you pull out in step number 6 toward the second house. And somebody gonna repeat that next year. They're gonna buy another third primary house and then convert the second house to the investment property. And you can repeat that. That way, you don't have to spend a lot of time on buying property. However, you can also working on a full-time job. This is a very stable income. You like it. You don't want to take risk and removing the income. Fine, keep working, and then just wait for a year or 2 years before you buy the next property. And if somebody comfortable with that, my job today webinar is just show you exact blueprint on how I buy my first property, investment property, with only 5% down. Okay. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching the webinar today. If you do have any questions for me, feel free to send me a direct message, text me, or comment on this video, and I'm more than happy to respond to you as soon as possible. All right. Again, thank you. My name is Long. I am the real estate expert in sorry, I try to move myself somewhere. Thank you so much. Again, my name is Longley. I'm a real estate expert agent here in the Chandler or Phoenix area, specialized in helping new investors acquiring investment properties and then do long-term rental on the property. If you have any question, if you have any interested in investing in properties, long-term rental, real estate, please contact me directly. Thank you. Bye-bye.